pop onto the table, like so. Gently down, and there we go, prise that up. So we will have those two unsoldered, and all we'll need to do probably is just snip this here, undo that there, and it goes into this module at the back, so similar setup to the last one. That should be easy enough. So I'm not going to remove the head screws just yet. We'll get this one out of the way, as this is the wrong one. And this was something I was trying last time. Adjust out the play in the head drum itself, but I've got a feeling that this actual head drum is worn. The upper head drum is worn, because if you... I'm not sure you'll be able to see this, but if you spin the heads, there is a point where it's almost like the heads themselves are poking proud of the upper assembly. They're in line with the lower assembly, but they're proud of the upper head drum assembly. And it really does look like that there is actually quite a bit of wear on this upper head drum itself. I'm going to go fetch my soldering iron, because the first thing I want to do is just unsolder that one, and yeah, just that one and that one. I'm actually half tempted to do these as well, just to make the process even easier. Let's see how I feel in a second. So the soldering iron is now hot enough and ready to go. And one thing I like to do before we do anything is, using my telephone here, we're going to grab a shot of the wiring and how it's lined up. That's interesting. So it has marked on here W and R and W and R. So let's have a look at this one and see how they're put in. Oh, that's interesting. So on this one, R goes to red, whereas on here, R, for some reason, is going to white. Those two are the wrong way round. Interesting. I wonder if that's been causing my trouble all along. I'd be surprised if it was, but again, not surprised. So before I even do anything, I'm going to swap these wires around before I even consider replacing the upper head drum. So let's... that's engaged, that is hot, and didn't even get that. Let's try that again, and pop, and pop. Okay, that's out of the way. It's nice, those sort of pre-soldered pads, which is quite cool. Makes life a bit easier. Let's grab this one here, warm it up, and there we go. That's that out of the way. Just put that over there. Let's do this one just to clean it up a bit. There we go. There we are. That's those cleaned and ready to go. Now we will swap these over, because I think those are the actual head connections, and I'm worrying not wondering if this has just been wired up incorrectly. So let's separate those a little bit like so. Let's just pop that back into there, and I've got a feeling this has been like this for years, and what may have happened at some point in the past is somebody replaced the heads before I got the machine and wired the heads up the wrong way, and rather than strip it all down, they decided to basically just wire these two round the other way rather than fix the issue by dismantling everything again. I can see why somebody would do it. It's probably easier. So let's move this to back here. Let's see if we can hold that in place without burning myself. Easier said than done. That's actually quite a tricky one. So let's see if we can. Might be easier to grab this red one first. I can hold that like so. I'm covering it over with my hand now, so what I'm doing, if I can move that up there a bit, is I'm placing some solder about here, holding that in place like so. And what I'm going to do is just melt solder onto the contact patch. A little easier said than done, but about there. Contact patch. I just need a little tiny bit just to hold it in place, and then we can sort it out properly. So about there, little tiny blob, about like so. There, move that out the way. There you go, that's held in place. So what I can do now is finish that off properly by coming in about here and dab it down a little bit there. There we go. Oh, botheration. Not to worry, because ow, 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 that really hurt. Not to worry, because we can do, ow, that also really hurt. We can do this, just melt it into what's there at the moment. There you go. So that's firmly back in place. This one will be the more interesting one. I can see why they do those contact patches, because you pre-blob it, then just heat up the patch and push the wire into the solder. So we'll do that for the white one. Move that out the way. Onto the patch and get it nicely blobbed up with some solder, which it is. Now we will heat up the patch. And I'll use something to poke it in. That's ideal actually. So heat up the patch. Heat up the patch a bit more, and whoops, that went too far. And such a balancing act. That's too far again, and hold it down, done. Just remove the stuff that's around it. Let's make sure it's completely free, not touching one another. Do it on all of them actually. And there we go, that's that. Right, is the head still free? Yeah, they certainly appear to be, so that's good. So let's put the put this back in place. So that will go into there like so, and that'll just tuck down into there. There we go. And I'll put that back on top as well. Just need to find the small screw, which I should have in my collection of screws actually. Trouble is I'm letting all little things escape, so I need to be careful about that. And I think this is it here, so this one here, into there, and into there, like so. Let's just get a screwdriver, and there we go, gently does it. That's in place, there we go. Check the heads still rotate, and they are looking good. That is absolutely fine, they are on there, no worries about that in the slightest, they are good to go. Something I did off camera is sorted this out. Nice and springy, as it should be. Also noticed, little lesson with these capstans, pinch rollers, you can pull this little bit off here and that will release the pinch roller. And the pinch roller is on some really, really precision engineered bearings, because it will just give it a spin and it will carry on spinning for quite some time. If, and I don't think it's a trend anymore, but if you were that way inclined, I suppose you could make quite a cool fidget spinner out of that. In fact, here's one I removed earlier. There it is. So you can see in there little race there for the bearings. Right. I am going to give the upper head drum, because we've done a little bit of tinkering with it, a bit of a spray down with some head cleaner. Now don't worry, I am not touching the video heads, I am just touching the upper head drum. And as you know already, the upper head drum on these is static, and it's just the individual head disc itself that rotates. I'm not sure this is a design I've seen replicated on VHS decks, to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever seen it. But you see it quite a bit on Betamax decks. The later Sonys have a very similar setup. There we go. And I think that is nicely done there. Give that a bit of a polish around there. There we go. check that's still going to work, which it is. And right, I'm going to go and give this a test and see if it works. And what I did to get a fairly stable picture back, adjust this one, which is the head speed, and adjust this one, which is the forward servo lock. Probably be better on a CRT, but there is still that central line, which I'm wondering is actually damage to the head disc itself, because it's been in and out many times and disturbed quite a bit. These two were incorrect. The white was on the red, red was on the white, so it was effectively reversing the signal coming off one of the heads, and that was causing a lot more trouble than we're seeing now. For the moment, that is as good as I can get it. That's tracking, doesn't really make much difference. It would probably be better on a CRT, to be honest with you. So it tends to handle these sort of analog disturbances better than this flat panel. But the picture is actually at least watchable. Well, sort of watchable. It was nowhere near this good previously. It was all over the place previously, a lot of flag waving, etc. Now we just have that central line, which, even though I've cleaned the heads again, I think the heads themselves may be damaged. There's a lot of that sort of scratching all over the place as well, so I think they've probably been damaged at some point. But the machine is viable, at least, which is good. And we're in a much better position than we were. Anyway, if you have found this video interesting, don't forget to hit the like button. I'm going to leave the machine mechanically for the moment because I am getting a picture out of it at least, so I know that there is some worth in doing something with it. What I will be attending to is the front panel. Let me just mute that a second. I will be attending to the front panel. The little cover for that is actually in there somewhere, and I'm also going to take a bit of time to spray up the actual metal cover on this as well, just to make it look a little bit more, a little bit neater. Anyway, so far so good. I'd say it's certainly a lot better than it was. Anyway, yeah, I mean, at least you can actually view the picture now, whereas previously you couldn't. As I say, it would probably be better on a CRT, but I will probably try that at some point off camera, but it's a lot better than it was. And I've purposely used a pre-recorded tape in reasonable shape, so I can actually sort of calibrate the machine more effectively. But as I say, I adjusted the head speed, which is this one, and the servo adjustment, which was this one for play. Also checked head speed on cue and review. Servo for cue and review is actually, if you look at that, it is spot on, but obviously that central noise bar remains. In fact, I might need to tweak the servo slightly on fast forward, but I'll do that off camera. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, like button and all that stuff, and I will see you next time. So after adjusting the tape path across, hang on a minute, let me just mute this. After adjusting the tape path as it goes across the audio control heads, so adjusting this nut here and there, I was able to actually get a steady picture if I run it right on the full sort of backstop against the tracking. As I say, it's not perfect. I've been having a think. I don't think it's heads. Someone has advised that it may be tape alignment, which I think he was on the money with that, so cheers Jan, I think you're on the money with that one. it probably needs more precision adjustment, which I don't have the tools to be able to do. So for the minute, this is probably the best I can actually get. Anyway, just a quick update. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, etc. See you next time.